Welcome to episode 3 of this AJ Sports Podcast. So today we'll talk about college football's week 2 reviews and see what teams did good, what teams did bad. I'll do an NFL one tomorrow because there's a Monday night going on. Let's start with good old Alabama and Texas. This game was a lot closer than anybody would have expected. Alabama did not play too well on offense. They were iffy. This was a interesting game. I think there are two takeaways I can see. One, that was a terrible roughing the passer call when Doug was getting sacked in the end zone. It was supposed to be a safety. That was a terrible call. Second of all, Texas injuries continue to pile up. This time, Quinn Ewers. He's gonna have to miss multiple weeks. So Texas, already injured to hell, now has their own quarterback injury. And second, I have no compassion of a team getting fucked over by the refs when they miss a 20-yard field goal. That's right. Texas missed a 20-yard field goal. So they should have won 22-20. So, congratulations, Texans. Texas, you're garbage. Georgia beat Stanford 33-0. They're number one team in the country, as they should be. And the top 25 rankings are, at this point, a little bit bizarre. We'll talk about that. Ohio State wins 45-14. Michigan ends up winning 56-10. Clemson won. Some good old upsets happened. This App State beating Texas A&M 17-14. I mean, people in Boone were rushing the streets when they won. I think we can honestly call Texas A&M an overrated team and Jimbo Fisher an overrated coach. You can't lose these games. You just can't lose these games. That was a terrible, terrible loss. That loss was awful. Oklahoma was not really that impressed. No, they exploded in the third quarter, but 33-3 versus Kent State. Yeah, blow teams out more. Marshall beating Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 0-2. They're out of the top 25. Not good for the Irish. I mean, last week I was impressed with Notre Dame. This week, goddamn. The hell are you doing, Notre Dame? BYU, this game went to overtime. BYU beats Baylor 26-20. I felt this game could go either way, and BYU ended up winning in overtime. USC looks very impressive. They beat Stanford 41-28. Williams was dotting him up all night long. So USC, they look very impressive. They're ranked 7th in the top 25. Oklahoma State winning 34-17. Kentucky beats Florida again. I thought Florida was probably going to win this game, but Kentucky ended up winning. They scored 13 unanswered points in the second half. Utah won, but Utah's not going to impress anybody because they lost to Florida. Michigan State won, Miami won. Arkansas won a game that was closer than I expected. Tennessee won in overtime. Another team that was injured to hell. Pittsburgh. This time their offensive lineman was just getting battered with injuries. Tennessee looks to be a very good team this year. Maybe not a New York Six Bowl, but their defense looks a little bit better. We'll have to see what they do in the SEC play. NC State bounces back after a rough game. Wisconsin loses to Washington State. Not very good for Wisconsin. Washington State is decent, but they're not very good. Ole Miss ended up winning. Wake Forest won. Texas Tech won against Houston in double overtime. Jesus Christ. Minnesota's 2-0. Duke is 2-0. They beat Northwestern. Penn State. Penn State's ranked now. They're ranked 22nd. North Carolina, another close win. The Georgia State, 35-28. North Carolina's going to fall apart. UTSA won in overtime over Army. Kansas State's 2-0. What else? Hey, Cincinnati bounces back, beats Kennesaw State. Hey, Maryland's 2-0. To Waka Baga Baga. Played really well. And I will call the Tagovailoa Waka Baga Bagas. That's how I do it. Washington's 2-0. Iowa's offense is again atrocious. Their offense is bad. Spencer Petras is terrible. He is awful. Lost 10-7. All you need, your first two games, you scored 14 points combined. Oh my God, Iowa, what are you doing? Illinois bounces back and beats Virginia 24-3. Purdue shuts out Indiana State. Massacre. Rutgers is 2-0. Good start for them. UCLA is starting 2-0. West Virginia, congratulations. You lost to Kansas. Kansas starts 2-0 for the first time, I don't know, 2007, 2008. I know they went to the Orange Bowl in 2007. They had a pretty solid season in 2008, and they fell to shit. West Virginia, what are you doing? That's trash. Fuck off. Syracuse is starting 2-0. Auburn starts 2-0. They didn't look impressive, though. LSU bounces back and beats Southern. And then, well, hold on. TCU starts 2-0. Virginia Tech bounces back. They beat Boston College. Oregon scores 70 fucking points against Eastern Washington. IU starts 2-0, but in a very ugly way. And Mississippi State's having a good 2-0 start. They beat Arizona. But to me, the funnest game of the day of college football was Nebraska. Scott Frost, thank God, his ass is out. He is utterly a bad head coach in major college football. I want to say one thing. You lost to Georgia goddamn Southern. Their head coach is Clay Helton, who was carried by Sam Darnold to win bowl games. Yeah. And Georgia Southern was 3-9 last year. So Scott Frost, he's out of Nebraska. Thank God. You know, for the laugh of it, I'm going to look up Scott Frost's career record at Nebraska right now. We're going to get a good laugh of this. 2018, 4-8. 2019, 5-7. 2020, 3-5. 2021, 3-9. And 2022, 1-2. His career at Nebraska is 16 wins and 31 losses. Congratulations. You are fired. How does it feel, Scott Frost? Aren't you supposed to build a solid team here in Lincoln? You just took massive shitty-ass L's every single time you're at Nebraska. Jesus Christ. Nebraska's not going to make it in a bowl game this year. They're bad. So let's look at the top 25. Alabama's down to 2. Georgia takes the number 1 spot. Georgia looks to be probably the best team again this year as of right now. Ohio State stays at 3rd. Michigan stays at 4. Clemson stays at 5. Oklahoma's at 6 now. Oklahoma State jumps to 8. Kentucky makes a huge jump to 9. They're in the top 10. I think they were in the top 10 last year. Arkansas jumped in the top 10. Michigan is ranked number 11. BYU is ranked 12. Miami's ranked 13. Utah actually drops to 14. Tennessee's up to 15 now. NC State 16. Baylor drops to 17. Florida drops to 18. Wake Forest is up to 19. Ole Miss 20. Texas somehow gets ranked 21st for losing. I don't care, it's Alabama. You do not deserve to be ranked when you lose. Penn State 22. Pitt drops to 23. I think they'll honestly disappoint. A&M, why are they ranked? Why are they ranked? Why the hell are they ranked? Oregon's up to 25. Marshall actually received the most votes that are the team that wasn't in the top 25. Appalachian State actually received some votes. Good Christ. I can't grasp that. No fucking way. The passing leaders, well, the most passing yards is. Well, hold on. Is this true? No way. That's what I thought. So the player with the most passing yards is Drake Maine of North Carolina. He's been very good so far in his first 3 games. The problem is North Carolina's defense is dog shit. They're a bad defense. Chase Brown leads college football with rushing with 496 rushing yards. Anthony Grant from Nebraska. Literally the only 2 things that are positive in Nebraska is Casey Thompson and Anthony Grant. So, good job, Nebraska. You're 1-2 now. I don't like. Scott Frost is done. I don't like him. Get out of here. Get out of college football. He deserved to lose to Georgia Southern. So, in my opinion, what is the best team? Georgia, in my opinion, their defense is still phenomenal. Like Georgia is just one of those teams. You lose players, well, it's almost a factory out there. I mean, we got all Americans out there, just waiting on the sidelines. You got them waiting on the sidelines. Like that's how good of a program Georgia has established. Ohio State, yeah, the Notre Dame game was a little bit of trouble, and it looks worse now, but they had a good bounce back game. Michigan, you might want to start J.J. McCarthy now. He looks way better than, well, Cade McNamara. Please, Harbaugh, make the right decision. Put McCarthy in if you want to be Ohio State. Clemson, we got to see more. We got to see more of Clemson. That's the one thing we're waiting for. They play Louisiana Tech, but the big game is in 2 weeks with Wake Forest. We'll see how that goes for Clemson. I think that how they do that game is if they're national title contenders again. As for my Sooners, well, it's a promising start, but I still have them going 10-2. I think there's just going to be a couple of games we're just going to lay an egg. We'll beat Nebraska because the only game I think the game I will be concerned at as of right now is in 3 weeks when we play TCU because TCU looks pretty good. We'll see how TCU does, but as of right now, I'm concerned of TCU. I'm not very concerned at Texas. They're injured to hell, and the only good news is for Oklahoma. The tough teams like Baylor and Oklahoma State that can knock us off, it's at Norman. So maybe the home field advantage helps us, but I got to see a little bit more. But Dylan Gabriel looks pretty good. Our running game is kind of a split with Gray and Major. Marvin Mims is our best receiver by far. But the Sooners, we'll see what they do. They got to impress me a little bit more. But it's a very good start, a start that you want. You want to look impressive because last year was not impressive. Notre Dame, you can forget about the college football chances now. I mean, losing to Marshall at home. You have Cal, you have North Carolina. BYU now looks like a tough game. It seems like winning against Clemson, you can forget. And oh, by the way, you have to travel to USC. They made some drastic drastic improvements. So Notre Dame, you're fucked. You're not. You'll make a bowl game, but you're not making a New Year's Six bowl. Just not happening. So what are the best games for this week? Well, Oklahoma and Nebraska will be an intriguing matchup. BYU will play Oregon. That'll be a 3:30 game. So that'll be interesting. Penn State plays Auburn. Which team will drop the first L? Texas Tech plays NC State. The night game, well, Michigan State versus Washington. Another dud. Miami playing Texas A&M. Warning, Miami's going to win. Miami is going to win. So week 3, once again, we're not in conference play. The conference play, everything will change when that happens. And Monday night prediction, I'll have the Broncos win. Why not? So that'll be it for this episode of College Football Review of Week 2. And thank you guys for watching.